Today's episode is a ghouls being ghouls.
Ghouls are being ghouls today. We're back.
And deader than ever.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Tamara.
And this is
Ghoul
Beans. I definitely almost said Tamara again. I don't understand.
What the fuck is going on with you? You've
Body
never done
snatcher.
this.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had a dream last night and it literally lasted all night long. Have you ever had that?
Of course.
But yeah, it was so long. So I feel tired. I feel like I lived a life when I was asleep.
Okay, so last week, I don't know why, we were like just taking naps. Like, we took a lot of naps last week.
You're stressed. I get it. It makes sense.
That makes sense. And every time I took a nap, I was having these like anxiety dreams.
Oh my God. That sucks.
Yeah, so like there was one where I had a teeth falling out dream, which is like my brain's go-to.
That. Mine too. And it's nasty.
My teeth fall out from like breathing too hard in the dream.
Yeah, it's like it's so painful too. It's so painful in the your jaw is so sore, and then for me, like I can feel it.
I can feel the teeth moving around in my mouth.
I hate that. Like, you're afraid you're gonna crunch one.
Yeah.
I hate that. Fucking teeth falling out dreams are horrible.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
I always wake up from those. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, me too. I'm always like tapping my teeth. I'm like, yes, thank you, Lord. I'm okay. Another day. Oh, that's that shirt. Is it not?
I know. I put it on this morning. I was like, this is the shirt that reminds Tamara of me. How funny.
Yes. Here she go.
Yeah, what happened to the barrier?
It's there. She's screaming. She's going, up over the barrier.
Probably.
Yeah, I know she is.
Oh my God.
What coffee are you drinking?
I am drinking, I've got two coffees. I've got an iced coffee and I got a little hot coffee. So hot coffee doesn't count. It's from Dunkin'. But the iced coffee is called Trident coffee. It's a nitro cold brew in a can. I found it at Woodman's again. I guess my pastime is just going to Woodman's and seeing what little iced coffees they can offer me. And this one's really good. It's a dark roast, so it's pretty strong. It's got a little like obviously Trident on the front. It looks cool. Here, I'll show you.
It looks like
fancy.
like a broy.
Oh, it was literally it's like a dude coffee can. Yeah. Literally. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I'm attracted to bro coffee, but
oh no, I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I'll have to talk about it in therapy later. But no, it's really good actually. Like it doesn't have the acidy taste that a lot of cold brews have. Well, I guess cold brew's not really supposed to, but I find that they do.
Yeah, they have like a zippy feeling in my mouth.
Yeah. That doesn't have it. So it's really good. I still need creamer and sugar, obviously, but it's pretty good. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking like Bustelo's younger sister, her cool younger sister. It's called El Pilon, and it's like it's another espresso molido, which is like the finely ground espresso. And I actually prefer this. I've discovered over Bustelo.
Oh, amazing!
I know, and Bustelos are a go-to. So, and I'm drinking him out of
your ghosty mug.
My ghosty mug. I don't know what her name is. I have to remember.
Clarice.
No.
Clarice and Clarence.
Speaking of children, our Ghouls Being Ghouls today is about children.
Yeah, it is.
Did you not do children?
No, I did.
Oh.
I did. It's just scary. I'm scared.
Yeah. And the one I have is like scary.
Yeah.
Well, we'll kick it off with this is an entry from my friend, and I don't know if she wants to remain anonymous, so I'm gonna let her remain anonymous.
Okay.
And she told me this story when we were hanging out one day, and I actually couldn't contain myself because I couldn't believe that this has happened to this person.
Literally.
Okay, are you ready? So I feel like I'll kick it off with her story, and then we can get into the stories that we found or that people wrote in.
Please. I'm scared, and I'm ready, and I've got my coffee.
So we'll call her...
Maureen.
Okay. So it was the 4th of July, and Maureen lived in, like, suburban Detroit. So, like, just suburban Michigan, which is basically the childhood we had growing up.
Yeah.
And she was babysitting for her neighbors. And her neighbors, like, their house was creepy. Their house was weird. They had the basement was extra spooky. And the basement, she told me, was just an opening, no curtain, no door. And, like, you'd have to just walk past it all the time.
Ew. Yeah, nasty.
I know. And, like, they just, like, kept the light off. Like, they were fine with it. Like,
that's wild.
Mm-hmm. But to them, like, ghosts, and I don't know if this was religious, but, like, the ghosts were not a bad thing. Like, they were, like, a good thing. Maybe even, like, lucky or, like, spirit guides, you know, like, they didn't...
So the family knew that the place was haunted?
Right. So, like, even if they didn't feel like their specific, even if they didn't feel like their house was haunted, they understood that people thought it was creepy.
That reminds me of Luce's story. Their friend's mom, who, like, could see the ghost, and they were like, oh, it's a gift from God, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that's, like, oh, my God.
What?
She got past the barrier. She's in the room. She broke in.
She got past the barrier.
Opened the door.
There's obviously the ghost cat helps her.
Thank you. Sorry. It's okay.
That's amazing.
Like, she's my child. She is my child. I might as well have given birth to her. So they looked at ghosts as being, like, maybe a good sign, or, like, not how we view them.
Got it.
So she was babysitting for her neighbors. They had a little girl who, she had some sort of muscular disorder, and she couldn't, like, walk to the bathroom. Like, she needed assistance doing everything. But this was at night, and she was already in her crib, and she was asleep. Like, I'm pretty sure she wasn't even, like, crawling like that. Like, she had to get moved from place to place.
Okay.
Yeah. So she started, this is at night, she started hearing voices on the monitor.
Oh, no, man.
She's alone. Imagine being, like, 14.
No, I can't. I would leave.
Jesus.
I'd be like, fuck that.
Especially if your house is so close.
Yeah. Bye.
Literally in, like, the same cul-de-sac. And she started hearing noises on the monitor. And she's so brave. So she started walking up. So the girl's bedroom was on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
And so she started walking up the steps. And if you can imagine it, which I'm sure you can, she described to me the fact that she had to walk up the steps and, like, parallel to the girl's door.
Oh, okay. So, like, you kind of...
So, like, if she... Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd have to pass the girl's door to get to the top of the steps. And so she gets up there, and she turns to the room, and the little girl is standing in the doorway.
Ew.
Now, if we keep in mind, she cannot move, she cannot crawl. The girl... She cannot move. She cannot crawl.
Wait, what just happened?
I was hearing noises. The girl was in the doorway. And she said she, like, looked at her. And then the girl closes the door. I'm getting scary tears. And she said that she's like, I just stood there. From my memory, I don't believe she ran back down the steps. She stood there, walked up to the door, opens the door, and the girl is in the crib.
Shut up.
I forgot to mention, and the reason I forgot to mention is because I blacked it out, and it's because she didn't mention this to me the first time. She was standing in the doorway and she wets herself.
Oh my god.
Yes, bitch. I'm getting scary tears. The first time she told me this and the second time she told me this, we were in a bar and she's like screaming this story at me. And I'm like fully like, no, please. Like,
stop.
Yeah. It's horrible. And then so she comes back down, and now if you remember, she was already in the door. So when she was walking up the steps, the girl was in the doorway and she didn't look and see her.
Wait. What?
The little girl was standing in the doorway of her room. So when Maureen walks up the steps, and to her left, if she had looked, she would have seen the little girl in the doorway. But she gets to the top of the stairs and then turns left and then sees the room. So like at some point her head's eye level with this girl's like feet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right. So she opens the door and she's in the crib. She runs back downstairs.
Is she like awake in the crib? Is she asleep in the crib?
Asleep in the crib.
Shut the fuck up. No. I won't be having any of that.
Mm-hmm. She was asleep in the crib. It's disgusting. It's horrible. But even if she was awake, like, to me, that wouldn't mean anything. Because that wasn't her. Because she couldn't leave the fucking crib.
Right. I mean, if she has a muscular disorder where she can't, like, even crawl or anything, like... And how old is the little girl at this time?
Little. But she's, like 5.
I just, like... Yeah, if she can't move around on her own, already, like, a little kid, like, just standing in a doorway and closing it, like, unrealistic. Like, kids be bouncing, you know?
Right.
They be fumbling with door handles.
Yeah, she told me that she called her mom and she was hysterical, and her mom was just like, that's creepy, that's weird, but they basically, like, brushed it off.
No one came to save her?
They came.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then she basically said that they kind of just like dismissed it, but her mom was like is very open to ghosts.
Yeah.
But then she told me that in the house that she babysat at, this is new for you.
Oh no. In
the house she babysat at, a teen girl died of tuberculosis in the room that became the nursery on the 4th of July.
Shut the fuck up. No fucking way.
Let me repeat that for you listeners.
I don't want it.
A teen girl died of tuberculosis in the room that became the nursery on the 4th of July.
My throat closed up.
I can't. My eyes are crying right now. Like, I'm trying to maintain myself.
I'm sweaty and cold.
Yeah. And she also mentioned that I believe on her property, I know I'm correct. On her property in the backyard, a woman set herself on fire and killed herself.
What? What the fuck was happening in this Michigan town?
I don't know. I'm like, damn. I'm trying to think of all the places that we've gone to and all the places that we've local lored. I'm like, damn, I wonder if it was next to any of these places.
Seriously. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Her property or the property that she was babysitting at?
Her backyard.
Okay, something was wrong in this little neighborhood.
Yeah. And I don't know that she describes herself as super sensitive, but she 100% believes in ghosts. She is a believer. And she told me this. She's a real one because she told me the story the first time we ever hung out. So that was our opener of a story, of a true, technically non-write-in, but a tell-in story of Maureen's experience.
That is so scary. Like the fact that someone literally died on 4th of July.
A teen girl.
I would not be able to.
She stood in the door in the middle of the night, wet herself, closes the door, climbs back into the crib.
There's no way.
There's no
way.
That was a demon. And oh my God. Our eyes are
Absolutely.
crying right
No,
now.
because like to climb into the crib, she had a muscular disorder. Like she couldn't even crawl or like walk normally. There's no way she's catapulting
Oh my
into her
God.
crib.
Oh my God. And like, so your brain goes to a bunch of things, and like, I bet you there are people who hear the story and go, oh, well, she could obviously walk.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. But like but
She
you have
couldn't,
to
though.
right.
Maureen was friends with, like, I think they had another daughter. So Maureen was
Yeah.
familiar with this house.
Yeah. And I just like you can't like I don't know. Like a kid doesn't fake having a muscular disorder their entire lives. You know what I mean?
And they're like 5 or 6.
Right. Like, if they're going to pretend they can't walk, it's going to be for literally 5 seconds because that's their attention span.
Yeah. And also, I'm not in the business of accusing children of faking muscular disorders.
Right. Like, that's. I seriously cannot even believe it, like, in a very bad way.
I can, like, picture the whole thing. It's giving Conjuring House.
Yeah, no.
Like,
the hallway's very dark. It's pitch
like,
black behind the room.
when she's like, I can picture Maureen walking up the steps and a light hitting her, and like you can kind of see her feet in the back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's like,
And she's like
hunched
pissing
over.
herself. Like,
That's horrible. I
oh
can't
my
believe
God.
what.
No, I'm just thinking about it. Oh my God. And you're already afraid of the house. She had told me
Right.
that they had a dog that would randomly like
Hate that. Hate that.
Mhm.
Well, and you said that she was hearing voices on the monitor already. So
Yeah.
like already high tension, like what the fuck is happening in that room? Go up
Right.
to see not what you expect at all. How'd she go in there? Like how did she go in there and check on her? I would have
That's
been
what
like
I said.
sorry.
I would have been like, fuck you.
Right. Have it. Fine, it's yours.
Bye. Sorry. I would have called the family and been like, so your daughter has been taken by the demon that lives in your home.
None of which is my fault.
She calls them and they're like, oh. Basically, like, that didn't happen.
Oh, you're wrong, you little silly girl.
You're such a silly little goose.
Oh my God. I would be like, I hope she never babysat there again.
I don't think she did.
I wouldn't. I would never babysit again, period.
I would never go into that house. I would never look at the house again.
Me
It was
neither.
kitty corner from her.
Oh, no. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Like behind her?
Kitty corner behind, I believe.
No, 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 no.
Which
That's
is worse.
It's so much worse. If there's not a street protecting me.
Right. You're basically share a yard. Like,
Ugh. Okay, well, that was horrible. It's sad for her that she has to live with that memory. I too would scream it at any new person I met. You have to hear this story.
I literally was thinking that too. I'm like, how have you not written this into like Good Morning America? Like, I need to know how you've gone this long without reporting this to someone.
Seriously.
This is unacceptable.
It's ridiculous. Literally, from what I'm picturing, I could draw that girl's story.
Me too.
And it's not going to be a good drawing. It's scary.
No. I can literally picture her like illuminated on the couch from the TV and then like hearing the monitor and looking at the monitor.
It would be a
And then
perfect
having
short
to like
story.
come around. Having to come around to, oh my God, that's what it is. It's a perfect short story. Not to like, I don't know, bastardize this woman's experience. But it is like, it's so perfect because it sets the scene. She's in the suburbs. Like, I can just, oh Jesus, it's such a Conjuring House ass fucking.
She's sitting on gold is what she's doing.
And she's not cashing in is what I'm saying.
She's not going as far as she could with it.
No.
Oh my God. Well, that was horrifying. Thank you,
Yes.
Maureen.
Thank you, Maureen.
I don't know how I'll recover from that, so we're just going to have to move on. This is from some write-ins to us personally from Reddit.
And if you would like to write into us
at ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com.
We would love to read your story. We would love to hear a suggestion of what you want us to talk about on our bitching hour, where we should go for local lore, any coffee recommendations.
Please. We're Ghoulbeans Podcast on Reddit as well, our subreddit, if you want to just send in ghost stories there.
Amazing.
As well as Ghoulbeans Podcast on Instagram for DMs, just so everyone knows exactly where to send their stories to. Okay, so this is from an anonymous person. So this is from Anonymous, but they sent it in to us on Reddit. So back in my rebellious days, I was volunteered to babysit for my 4-year-old cousin. This was punishment for getting a speeding ticket. This would also be the first and last time I ever babysat someone. Since my aunt had to wake up and head to work at 6 a.m., she let me stay the night. I woke up to my little cousin, Jocelyn, tugging on my arm. I knew right away she would want cereal and cartoons, so I led her into the living room and put her on her favorite show. She also began the interrogation of questions. What was I doing there? How did I get there? What was going on? I explained to her that I stayed the night, a concept that blew her little mind. She couldn't believe it. I had woken up at a house that wasn't mine. Cute, right? It would soon turn into me calling my mom to pick me up. As I'm in the kitchen making her cereal, I hear her begin to whisper. Okay. I know we are the only 2 people in the house, so she's got to be singing her show or something.
Oh, Jesus.
Girl. She begins to laugh hysterically, like someone just said the funniest thing she's ever heard. I then realize her show isn't even on. It's a commercial. I'm officially freaked out. She is talking back and forth now, and I know that she isn't talking to herself because she is taking pauses.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Nightmare scenario.
She then says the phrase, "So you stayed the night too?" I drop the bowl. I call my mom and tell her to come get me now. I still have no idea who or what she was talking with, but it still freaks me out to this day.
Oh, no.
Dead. Dead, done, gone.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm trying to think of, like, what I would do in that scenario. I would call I'm calling my mom. That's it.
I'm out.
Like, if I'm especially, like, if I had to get, like, dropped off, like, or, I don't know, like, hopefully this person had a relationship with their mom where their mom would be like, what the fuck, and come get them, and not be, like, dismissive.
There is just that moment of, like, and it's in your story, too, where, like, there's a moment of clarity in which I feel like the ghost also is like, yeah, that's right, you know? And, like, that's the moment I don't want to live in. That's the moment where you have to, like, run up the basement stairs. And it's like...
Yes. It's the moment of, like, it's the moment of making eye contact with whatever's freaking you out right before you have to run up the stairs.
Exactly.
It's that, like, Jesus Christ, like, we both know that this is happening. There's no denial, like...
Right. The dream scenario, right, is that, like, you hear that and you, like, are just like...
Girl, dream scenario, I don't hear it.
Okay, dream scenario, don't hear it. But dream scenario, when, like, something spooky happens, is, like, you can pretend it didn't happen and you scoot yourself out of the house and everything's chill. But, like, I don't know, like, dropping the bowl, that... The ghost knows you know, bitch.
Yeah.
It's over.
The ghost is looking at you and talking to her.
I have to, like, check my surroundings after you said that. Like, that's horrible.
Like, literally, because it's, I mean, oh, God. Just children being, like, so aware and so, like, I don't know, open and accepting of this stuff and, like, capable of seeing shit. Like, that makes me sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw something fly behind you just now.
It's
the fly.
Behind me?
Yeah.
It's the fly.
It has to be.
It's the only option.
Are you in what
it's a
will
fly.
Be your bedroom?
This is our office / Ghoulbeans recording studio.
Incredible.
So,
the
apropos.
Yeah, the suburban studio.
The suburban studio, yeah.
Okay. This is from Reddit. Like r / like creepy shit kids say.
Okay.
So this is from Craigo my ego.
I like it.
10 years ago they posted this. It says, I don't have kids of my own yet, but my little brother did something that creeps me out to this day. He was around 3 when it happened. By the way, 90% of the stories I found, the kids are 3.
Ew, that's a bad age, I guess.
Yeah. The demon 3s. He was around 3 when it happened.
I liked it.
My mom called me from my room to grab her a towel so that she could keep an eye on both of my little brothers that were playing in the tub. I had grabbed the towel and was just walking into the bathroom when my 3-year-old brother, who normally had an adorable broken little kid speech, suddenly sat up straight in the tub, cocked his head, and in the most serious pronunciated voice said, Look, Mom, I can't die. He had crossed his arms over his chest and slid underwater. It took a second for me and my mom to react, but she pulled him out pretty quick. He had inhaled a bunch of water and was crying, but was okay.
Oh my God.
So fast forward a couple years. We were replacing the trim in my brother's bedroom that was adjacent to the bathroom. We were tearing down the trim in their closet that adjoined to my parents' room, and we found an old penciled height chart on the wall where the trim was. There was only one kid named Alan, and the height chart stopped at the age of 5. The old lady that had owned the house before us had sold it to us so that she could help take care of her husband in an assisted living home. She had mentioned on more than one occasion that they were the first owners of the house and never had kids. So we did some research, and thanks to the public library's amazing newspaper archive, we found an article from the 1950s stating that the old couple had indeed had a kid. He had drowned in the tub in the same bathroom my little brother had an episode in. The conclusion in the paper followed somewhere along the lines that his mom wasn't supervising him in the bathroom when he had stood up in the tub, slipped, and hit his head. His name was Alan. I refused to even go in my parents' bathroom after that.
Oh my God, I have chills.
Look, Mom, I can't die, dude.
And then inhales a ton of water.
Like, cross his arms over his chest and, like, plunges under the water.
I have chills. Like, that's so sad, but it's also, like, that's horrifying, you know? Like, it's sad that ghost boy died, but it's also, like, scary because he's like, and now I'll kill you.
Dude, I don't even, like, I can't, like, this is freaking me out. Because I'm trying to, like, think about, like, having a kid. And, like, in the situation in which I have a kid, I have a psychic, scary child who also is. Yeah. Like that video I sent you last night.
No. See, and that is funny because I didn't even realize that we were recording, like, about children.
That's why
today.
I sent it.
I know. I realized that. I just put it together. I'm slow as hell. But and not, like, in an offensive way. I realized how it sounded, but I just meant, like, putting it together was slow. Mm-hmm. Just everyone needs to know that. But yeah, that's why I can't have kids, man. And, like, I've experienced it firsthand with my nieces. Mm-hmm. Like, no fucking way. And I will say, I remember when I was babysitting Skylar out in California, and my sister and brother-in-law, they had gone somewhere. Obviously, that's why I was babysitting. And it was just for the day, but I heard a noise in the back room, like, where she was sleeping. And I literally just charged in there and, like, looked around before I even realized what I was doing. She was napping, so it was dark in there. And I was, like, standing there, and I was like, well, this could have been, like, a horrifying situation. Mm-hmm. Like, I just came back here, you know?
Yeah, your, like, instinct overrides, like.
Yeah.
But at the same time.
Which is great. Well, think about, like, also horrifying.
You wouldn't have had that reaction if, let's say, was it Sky?
Yeah, it was Skylar.
Okay, let's say Sky's, like, 5 and has a history of doing this. Like, you would not have just charged in there. You would have been like, okay.
Fair. Yeah, be like, okay. Well, did I tell you? I don't know if I ever said it on the pod, but, like, Erin's new house, my mom, like, went and helped her set it up and was sleeping in the guest room. And she heard Skylar say, like, or she thought it was Skylar, say, like, Grandma, wake up, like, Grandma, and stuff like that. Literally, my mom gets up, no one's up. Skylar, the girls are all asleep. Yeah.
No, because your mom stays doing this shit. I can't
I know.
deal with Rowan, bro. I can't fucking deal with Miss Rowan. Like, what the fuck? Like, like, you can't just be like, yeah, anyway, what time are you guys going at? Like, I can't deal.
Well, that's the thing. My mom, like, I wish she'd be more aggressive about it, but she's so casual.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, ghosts are real. And then she's like, but I don't deal with, like, I don't think about it because I don't like to be scared. So what do you guys want for dinner? And I'm like, no, tell me more. Like, how did you feel in the moment?
I know. That's how I feel about sometimes, like, Mariel's mom will drop a little nugget of something somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, so that, like, had to have shaped your childhood. And she's like, oh, I just didn't put any attention on it. And it's like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
I can read another one.
Please.
Okay, let's see. Around 4 or 5 months ago, at like 3 a.m., I was awoken by a very weird growling sound. Disoriented in the dark, I started to come to, and for the life of me couldn't figure out what the sound was. I had fallen asleep on the couch in the living room, which added to my confusion. I was thinking that maybe the cat had caught something, but I really had no idea. As my vision started to come around, this 3-foot, grotesque-looking shadow thing starts to appear just a few feet in front of me. Just standing there, growling. Creepy. Even though, in reality, it only took me a few seconds to figure out what was going on, I imagine my appearance would have been that of someone who was visibly shaken. My 3-year-old son snuck out of the bed at 3 a.m. and put his Hulk mask on in the dark.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
His idea of playing was to do a Hulk growl 2 feet from my sleeping face.
That's so funny.
That is not funny. That's fucking nightmare level. And this is the last one I have from Reddit.
Okay.
When my son was little, he, maybe at 3, another one at 3 years old, dude. He used to do this weird crawl where he would slide his forehead along the floor.
Ew.
That was pretty creepy in itself. Then one night, he crawled across the hallway into my room like that and stood up a few inches from my face and made a weird meow sound. He got into bed with me and went to sleep. Another time, he was freaking out about a monster in the basement, so we went down and saw nothing, of course. And as I turned out the light and headed upstairs, he says, he's right behind us right now.
Oh my god, done.
I might have peed a little. Possibly the creepiest thing that he ever did was one day I scolded him for misbehaving, so he slid his head under his blanket, and I pretended I couldn't find him by saying, "Where's my little Carson?" He slowly lowered the blanket, and with a dead evil stare, he said, "Carson's gone. I'm Rick." I'm certain he's possessed. We never knew any Ricks, as far as I can remember. Still don't. Never figured out where he even found the name.
Ew. I'm certain he's possessed is the worst way to describe your child.
The first comment on there, like reply, says you were Rickrolled.
That's so funny. That is so funny though. Like, it's not funny. The comment's funny. Realistically, that's horrifying. And like the being in the basement. First of all, who turns the light off while they're in the basement?
A lot of people, to assert dominance, I think. I literally think, for me, like when I hear about people like turning the light off and then running up the basement, well, sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes there's no light switch on the...
That light would be on 24/7.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I'll take that L on my energy bill. I don't give a fuck.
Literally. I hate when people, like, for little kids, if they're afraid of the dark, they're like, okay, and then they like turn off the light, close the door, and they're like, see, you're fine. It's like, girl, like, they might not be.
Why are you trying to fucking exposure therapy me right now? You're not a trained fucking professional. You don't know what...
There's a demon in the corner.
Right. Like, I think about, like, if you're a parent of a kid and your kid says some shit like, I remember when I wasn't me, and you don't take that and you don't go like, oh, who were you? You know, and you go, you were always you. Like, you're stifling shit because you're scared. Like, subconsciously,
right?
If you're just scared, like intentionally not digging deeper because you know you're scared to find what you're gonna find.
Exactly.
Because you go, oh, who were you before you were you? And they're like, my name was Mary and I was an old lady.
Mm-hmm. What?
No, I'm saying like now you gotta look at that kid every day when you come home. You're like, that used to be Mary.
Mary's home.
Hey, Mary.
I agree, though. I think, like, I don't know. And I would want to know. I believe in ghosts, so it's different. And I also, like, care to talk to children. Like, I care, like, I see children as humans. And I feel like a lot of parents, especially ones that do that, like, don't, you know? You know how people act with children? That they're, like, they're not to be taken seriously. Like, I said what I said because I said it. And it's like, you have no respect for your child. You're not, like, teaching them why rules matter and stuff. And I feel like it's those kind of people that are, like, you're not scared of the dark and, like, turn off the light and shut the door. And they're like, nothing to be afraid of. And it's like, it's okay to, like, not like the dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to traumatize your kid.
It's control issues. It's like your kid didn't fit the script of what you thought your kid was going to be like. And now your kid's coming to you saying things like, I'm afraid of the dark. And you're like, you've decided that your kid shouldn't be afraid of the dark.
Exactly. And instead of, like, asking, like, oh, what makes you afraid of the dark? Or, like, what would help you? Like, they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
It's like they're a human being. Like, they're going to have opinions and fears that might not be the same as yours. I am afraid of the dark.
Literally, like, okay, Daphne, like, you go to sleep with the fucking TV on full blast. Like, it's the same shit. We gotta come back to demons.
What'd you say?
So we have to come back to demons.
Wait, you're all gobbledygook.
No, don't say that.
Your face doesn't look like your face. It's scaring me.
Why? Hang on, let me clear out. Okay.
Oh, okay. You're better.
Okay.
Okay, so I should read this story. Okay, so this is sent in to us by Hyrule Chris. And actually it was not sent in to us. I found it.
Okay.
So they say, okay. Well, 2 times I babysat, once with an actual baby, he was 1 at the time, and I house sat, puppy sat for a friend on another time. Done a few others, but these 2 are the creepiest. The first, the 1-year-old, I was friends with his mom and aunt, actually more of a friend of the aunt, and I was visiting. The sister needed a ride and asked if I could stay and watch her kid while my friend, her sister, drove her to get a few things. I said sure, mainly because she had already put him to bed and it shouldn't be any work at all. This was around 7 p.m. First, I'm going to stop here and be like, how shitty. Like, I'm here with my friend and she's asking me to now, like, babysit her kid while they go off and get some stuff.
That is sadly, like, the case for a lot of people.
I would never. I'd be like, no, you can take your baby because you made poor choices.
Right. This is not my fucking baby.
They leave, and about 15 minutes later, I hear a thump. Now, both of their rooms are next to each other, and my friend has her cat locked in her room because her sister and I have allergies to the cat. Anyway, I just assume it's the cat and continue to watch TV in the living room. Then 5 more minutes go by, and I hear another smaller thump. So I go and check on the cat first. I know, kind of a bad move, but I was thinking logically it was the cat, and I figured if I calmed it down, it would stop acting out and not wake up the kid. Well, I open the door and the cat is asleep on my friend's pillow. Adorable, but also scary. At first, I thought the little jerk was just pretending or something. And while staring at the cat, I hear the thump again. But this time, it's clear that it's coming from the other room where the kid is. What? Like, why would you ever assume the cat's, like, tricking you? You know what I mean?
Well, that's giving me, it's reminding me of whenever I was in the house with my friend Robin, who I needed to get her on the pod, and we heard thumping outside, and we were like, oh, it's your cat.
But, like, why would you look at the cat and be like, I know you're pretending to be asleep right now?
No, that person's desperate. Like, that's different.
Yeah, they're trying everything they can.
Yeah, that person's, like, really looking for reasoning in a reasonless world.
I immediately freak out thinking the kid fell out of his crib or something. And before I could even close my friend's door, the cat freaks out and hides under the bed, and the kid in the next room starts to cry.
Oh, God.
Which definitely makes me feel like he did fall. So I shut the door and go to the next room, open the door quickly, and he's standing up in the crib crying. I feel relieved that he didn't fall and go to calm him down. Now, mind you, for some reason, the electrical doesn't work so well in her room. The light switch doesn't work, so you have to turn on the floor lamp by hand.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm in a dark room, minus the small-ass nightlight, with a crying baby. It then dawns on me, what the hell was making that noise? So I turn on the light and look around. Her closet door is open, and some stuff moved around, but nothing that looked like it fell several times or anything like that. So I closed the closet door, mainly because the kid was crying while staring at the closet. And being the horror movie geek I was like, okay, closing the closet, which would be me. I'd be like, okay, that's the first thing we're going to do. He seemed to have calmed down, and it took me about 5 minutes to get him back to sleep. I left the light on and the door cracked open so I can keep an ear out but not wake him up with the TV. Anyway, that lasted about 10 minutes. Then I hear another thump noise. I get up and peek in. The kid is asleep still, so I open the door some more and the closet is open. Now, it's a sliding door closet, which isn't as creepy as a walk-in closet with an actual door, but closets in general are creepy, especially at night. Anyway, my first instinct is to run, but I man up, go check out the closet to see what could have opened it or whatever, and nothing. I just told myself maybe it's a mouse or something. A big mouse that can open the closet door. So like I said, I closed it up, checked on the kid still left the light on, and went back to the living room. Not even 5 minutes go by and he's crying. And there was no noise this time, so I figured maybe it was a normal baby cry, like the light was bothering him or he peed or something. So I go in again. This time the closet is only opened a little bit. I'm extremely freaked out. I've already texted my friend telling them to get the hell back home. So I go toward the closet door to close it. My hand reaches for the edge, and then I hear a small thump. And then one of those baby police car toys that have the siren sound effect go off in the closet. I open it up slowly, and there it was, just going off. The kid is still crying his head off, and I know for damn sure that his toy was not in the closet. So I take it out, put it away, and close the closet door. I put the kid back to sleep and wait in the room with him. He didn't go back to sleep, but I could tell he tired himself out with the crying fit he had. He laid there staring at me, almost like, get me the hell out of here. I felt uneasy in that room, like something or someone was watching me and was pissed off, especially from the area where the closet was. So after about 15 minutes of waiting in the room, I stand up and start to head out. The light then turns off.
Oh my God.
Which is odd since you have to turn it on and off manually since the wall switch doesn't work. I figured the bulb blew out or something, so I walk over using the little nightlight, what little light the nightlight offered as a guide toward the lamp. After I got to the lamp, I heard the closet door sliding open.
Oh my God.
I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life, and my instincts kicked in, like, turn on the light. And I felt for the switch on the damn lamp and turned it on, hoping it would. And it did. Looking back, I was both relieved and creeped out that the bulb didn't burn out and that it somehow turned off by itself. Anyway, the light was back on. I turned around and luckily nothing, or rather I didn't see anything there. I grabbed the kid, shut the closet again, shut the door to the room behind me, and held him in the living room till his mom and friend got back. At first, she was pissed that I took him out of the crib and that he was awake, but I was like, you need an exorcist or something.
Okay, lady, shut the fuck up.
I don't think she really believed me. She said she noticed small things happen, but nothing to that effect.
Okay, queen.
That was almost a year ago, and apparently nothing that drastic happened again. Weird stuff happens to me and around me often. I've been told I was a magnet for these things, so I'm not sure if whatever happened because I was there, or maybe I brought it with me or activated or whatever. They did do a prayer of some kind and bless the house and apartment. Maybe that helped. And that was basically it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was a lot, but basically, like, it's like a classic, like, the light turning off. The light turning off on its own, not blowing out. Disgusting. I can like hear the little click.
Yeah. That's another one that like paints the picture perfectly, like Maureen's story. She's gonna hear that and be like, "You could have just said my name." That's a classic like visual of like not just. I guess it's also like auditory because it's not just depending on what the light is. So like, I just discovered yesterday that in here I've never put a light bulb in it, but because I just assumed it didn't work. But there's a pull string like light part in here, but there's no light bulb in it, so like obviously it's not gonna turn on. But like the sound of the of the pull string or the flip of a switch or which Robin's story has involves hearing.
Girl, stop telling me bits and details. Just tell me the whole fucking story.
No, I can't. I don't want to. I'm gonna text her today immediately after this and be like, I need you to write in. It's particularly the one story.
Okay. The closet sliding door, the door sliding open in the dark is.
When he said the sliding one is not as scary, I disagree.
I disagree as well. I get that like a door can go like, but like the sliding.
Not really. The sliding and then like the hands coming out.
Yeah. That and it had to have been one of the twisty lights that like don't always turn on the first time.
But honestly, number one scariest in my opinion is the one that pulls and collapses.
That's these.
Damn.
That's these bad boys.
Those are so scary. Oh God. Yeah. I'm no stranger to those. Believe you me.
Yeah.
But yeah, those to me are the scariest ones.
I think the sliding ones because, and you know what? Did you have the pull collapse in your childhood bedroom? Yeah, and mine was sliding, and I feel like I could never get it closed enough. There was always a crack. That's the problem with the sliding ones.
That's the problem with
the
push close ones because if there's any pressure from the close, it'll like stay kind of cracked open in the middle.
Oh, yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
and like if this one opens, it's intentional. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes I can't even open them. I'm like, okay.
How are the vibes in the new place?
Honestly, fine. I'm wondering how it'll be after like recording in here, but I feel okay.
Okay.
It's hard. It's an old ass building, first of all, and there's like a million people that live here. So like, yeah. So damn. I'm so far chill.
We'll see once I leave. Because I'd never felt like your last apartment was haunted, but I did feel like there was some shit that like felt comfortable going in there.
Yeah. The last apartment in so many ways, I've never liked a place better. I really liked that place. And like I really felt comfortable there. And never spooky.
Yeah, you were on the ground floor, you had those big old windows.
Yeah, it was great. This one's fine.
Yeah.
This one's fine. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. It wasn't so much what she said as it was what she did. When my daughter was about 4 years old, I heard her talking in her sleep. I got up to check up on her and to wake her and ask if she had to use the restroom. She shook her head yes, so I took her to the bathroom. I knew she was still asleep even though she was going through the motions because her eyes were glazed over and she had that blank look. She sat down to use the restroom and then slowly started rocking forward and backward. Weird? Yeah, but whatever. You know, she kind of brushed it off. Then she slowly started laughing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I asked her if everything was okay, and she continued to rock and laugh. I tried a few more times to get her to talk to me, and then she continued to laugh and rock. Finally, I asked her, "What's so funny?" And the rocking came to an abrupt stop. She slowly raised her head and eyes to look at me. Her eyes were still glazed over. And then she said, "You are." She went back to rocking and laughing. I was done at that point, so I asked her if she was done and took her right back to bed. Took me a little while to fall back asleep.
That's so, like, that, I can't. They are too vulnerable. They're too innocent. They're too easy to, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'd be like, well, you know how to get back to bed.
They so often will stand next to your face and like wait for you to wake up.
I know. There would be absolutely no way that kid would survive. I'd yeet them.
That's the risk you run having a child.
The risk is really great. People don't think about that enough. Like, they're only thinking about, like, oh, how will I raise it? Like, la 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 la. Did you ever even think about the ghosts? Did you even ever think about it once? No. And now look where you are.
Have you ever felt a slight chill in your home? Your kid's going to be able to identify that person's middle name, their social security card number.
Will be possessed by them.
Will be them eventually.
All of a sudden, you're talking to Rick. Mary and Rick are in your house now.
Literally.
And were you prepared for that?
No.
You were worried about college tuition. You never even thought about possession.
You never considered that, like, the man living in your home would talk to you through your child, through the baby monitor.
That's horrifying. A baby monitor? Hell no.
First of all,
I can't.
If we ever wrote a scary movie, there has to be a baby monitor.
Obviously. And it's the nighttime one.
Mm-hmm.
And,
well, now they have the ones with the screens where you can, like, look at them.
Yeah.
And I've seen clips. Obviously, I scare the shit out of myself on TikTok. But, like, I've seen clips of, like, the babies, like, rolling onto their back and, like, just, like, coming straight up. Or like shit getting moved around in the baby's room, and then the baby's like, hi, like, and I'd be like, go to sleep.
Stop it. Go to sleep. I'm not coming in there until sunrise.
You have 3 hours.
Oh my god. Did you ever have anything happen to you while you were babysitting? To close this out, did you ever have like a scary babysitting story?
I think I've told it before, maybe on an early episode. But the last family, not the last family, not the most recent one, the baby that I'm talking about.
Okay.
There was one before that, because I hadn't nannied for years before the most recent one, and it was 3 kids, and I would take the 2 older ones to the bus stop and then be at the house with the youngest one. Mm-hmm. And in the basement was the playroom, and it was fully finished basement. Really, like they had like a full blown like bouncy house down there, like it was huge. Mm-hmm. But there was this room that was locked that I couldn't get into, and the kids, like, if I ever went over there once, and the way that I found out that like I would never see what was in there was. I went, they were all 3 downstairs. It was a snow day or something. I jiggled the doorknob, and then the oldest girl, she turns to me and she goes, don't go in there. We're not allowed in there. And I, like, had my hand on the knob still, and I was like, you guys aren't, like, no one goes in here? And they were like, no, that's mommy and daddy's room. And I was like, okay, so maybe this is, like, a sex thing, whatever.
Obviously.
Yeah. Girl.
Best case scenario, it's a sex dungeon.
Best case scenario, like, that's where mommy and daddy keep their alcohol and guns and, like, weed.
Okay, that's fair. That's best case scenario.
And the door is super loud. Like, the door doesn't even jiggle.
Damn.
But there's an 1.5-inch gap at the bottom.
I do remember you telling me this.
And when the youngest one was, like, busy, like, he was watching something on TV in the basement, and the 2 were at school, I, like, snuck behind the couch, and I was like, I have to know what's in there. I didn't even feel comfortable being in the basement, like, knowing that door was locked. Like, it gave me, like, disgusting, scary vibes.
It is wild that you had the balls to, like, go and, like, do what you're about to say you did.
Yeah. And I put my flashlight on. Well, I put the phone on flash and, like, the video flash on and recorded.
Yeah.
And slid my phone under there. I like the grip I had on my phone.
I was like, immediately in my head, your phone gets snatched for sure.
Yeah.
Whoever
and
they have locked in that room.
Like, something jimmies with the doorknob, and I have to, like, grab the kid and run upstairs.
Yeah.
Because that basement was one way in, one way out.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. If you wanted to escape, you'd have to take the window out. Like, you couldn't.
Ugh. And it's so filled with toads.
And the stairwell to go upstairs was really long. It was carpeted, but it was really long. And it was one of those ones where it's like, you can't see next to you until you get to a certain point. And the kids famously, consistently would run up the stairs.
We're gonna walk. We're gonna go in a line, and I'm gonna lead you guys.
They would run because they didn't like to, because it was one of those ones where you had to turn the light off in the basement. So anyway, I slid my phone underneath and I pulled it out to look, and I couldn't like see basically anything except the ceiling was not finished, and like what I could tell from the walls, like it's not finished. And so I'm like, okay, so worst case scenario, there's someone chained up in here and watched me slide my phone and just like stared and didn't say anything, and like I slid my phone out. Best case scenario, that's again, that's where they have the alcohol, that's where they have the weed.
Yeah.
Like
Right, because it doesn't make sense for it to be so, like, locked if it's just a storage room.
Well, it's not that it's so locked. It's just that it's locked. Like, it didn't have, like...
a deadbolt on it?
No, and also it had a different doorknob. Like, you needed a key.
Oh. It still is weird.
It is weird. It was very weird. And I felt weird about that room before I even knew it didn't open. Weird. So, like, the day that I went down there and, like, went to Jimmy and open, I was like, what's in here? Because I had access to the whole house. Yeah. All three of them, even the baby, like, looked at me.
Yeah.
And then the oldest, she was like, we're not allowed in there. That's mommy and daddy's room. And I was like, have you ever been in here? And they said no. They've never even seen it. And that's the house that these kids were, like, raised in.
Damn. That's scary. That's spooky.
So, like, that was scary. And then I'm trying to think if I have any other. Well, I nannied for this family one summer, and the oldest boy is nonverbal, has nonverbal autism, and pretty high scale autism. And he would like point and shit, like if he wanted stuff or if he saw like something he wanted, and he was pointing. And there was, like, 3 other kids. And they all, like, it was, like, a very... I got overpaid to do that place because
yeah,
they were like, oh, it's so difficult because he has autism. All 3 of the kids literally took care of themselves. The youngest, like, made her own bottle. Like, it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the kids, they saw me talking to him. And I'm like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? And, of course, the second oldest, the girl... She's like, yeah, mommy doesn't like when he does that. And I was like,
oh, that's horrifying.
I was like, but he's like trying to point to something, I just can't tell. And she's like, no, sometimes he just points.
Damn. That's scary.
And it was nighttime, and like he was going to bed, and like I was like, oh, like, do you want me to leave the door open? Because he would like grunt and stuff for yes and no. So I was like trying to figure it out, and she like basically was just like, are you new here?
This is his ghost shit.
This is the type of shit he's on all the time.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
And they were not born and raised in that house. They had recently moved into that house.
That's scary. That's real scary.
And the fact that like he can't tell you what's going on.
Yeah. That's spooky.
Oh my god. They had like toys in that house. Like after everyone went to bed and I was watching TV, their toys would go off.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. The one that I have, there were a couple, but the one that like freaked me out the most, it was my mom's boss's house, and they lived right in front of a cornfield, and they would just like I came in and they were getting like the doors were just open, and I was like, okay, this is horrifying. So they left, the parents left, and I shut all the doors, closed all the blinds. I was like, we're gonna lock up, and we were playing upstairs, and the kids would sleep in the parents' bed, and like they just didn't like go into their rooms. And so the little girl was like, I don't like my room because this is where the aliens come. They like to hide in my closet. And I was like, I hate that.
No. I'm like, I give you heartburn.
The little boy had a bunk bed where the stairs were like real stairs because they were loaded. And there was like a slide that you could slide down, like the bunk bed. And I was like, you don't, literally climbing up the bed and sliding down. I'm like, why don't you like sleeping in here? This is so good. Like, this is so cool. And he just literally looks at me and looks at his closet and looks back, and he's like shrugs his shoulders. And the saddest little shrug. And when I tell you, like, when I was like leaving the rooms, these 2 rooms, they would fly past me. Like, they were like, I'm not going to be in this room last, basically.
Oh my God.
So we were downstairs and they were playing with stuff, and like I was just picking stuff up, and I tossed a bunch of stuff in like this bassinet thing. And there was obviously toys that sang and stuff like that. And I tossed all the stuff in, and then I brought them upstairs, put them in the bed. We were like hanging out for a little bit. They were allowed to watch TV. I was cleaning up their horrifying rooms. Walking down the stairs, I hear a toy going off in the little bassinet down there. I had been up there for an hour.
Oh, no.
I walk down and I find it. It's literally like this bunny rabbit that sings, and it's like sitting in the middle of the pile. And I was like, no.
No.
Yeah.
You know what this is making me think of? It's making me think of that Ghouls Being Ghouls that we did, which was an iconic Ghouls Being Ghouls. I have to remember the episode name. But the little girl who like had seances every time with her best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And
you're not prepared for that as a parent.
No.
Every single time you hung out with your best friend for years, you tried to summon a demon.
Right. Like, I'd be like, what are you doing in there? Oh, we're playing dolls. Like, okay. You know, like.
And yes. And she said that the posters fell from her wall and the room was shaking and her parents were like, what's going on in there? And like.
Yeah. No, you're not prepared. And I'm not prepared, which is why I'll be childless.
Yeah. I'll be the aunt that swings by. She's like, okay, well, your kid's talking about the Hat Man again. Gotta go.
You're right. You need to come home now. So, yeah. I think next Ghouls Being Ghouls, we should do basement stories.
Girl, you want me to just give my life story?
No, we gotta find new ones.
Yeah, we will.
Basement stories scare me.
We'll give new ones. I need to like have people I know with basements write in.
For sure. Like, have to.
Yeah, like for example, Robin's house.
Yes, tell her to write in. Whatever her stories are themed, that'll be the theme. Just let me know.
It's child possession. It's yes. It's haunted house. It's demon in the basement. It's like the layers.
Oh my God. Tell her to write in. I'm obsessed.
I know. And if you guys have any scary stories, you should write them in to ghoulish@gmail.com. I want to hear your scariest, like, I'll roast and ghost whatever you want. Actually, no, I won't. I won't roast or ghost anything, but I'll bitch about it. In our new segment, The Bitching Hour. Literally write in your scariest, ooky spooky, like I was shitting, sliding down the wall, crying, sobbing, throwing up stories. Even if it turns out that it was just like the chair that with all the clothes in the corner, like I don't care. I want to know a time you were the most freaked out ever.
Yes, please. And let us know for any coffee recommendations. And also let us know any spooky places to go, because soon we'll be going on a local lore live. I'm horrified.
Yes. So the reason we picked child stories and babysitting stories is because it's somewhat related to our trip. It's so soon.
I know. It's 2 weeks away. I hate it.
Me too. I'm actually going to be borrowing Maureen's tent, I think.
Oh, perfect. Because you know Matt hasn't asked his parents. But they do have a tent. So if you can't get it from her, like, I know we can get a tent.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So yeah, please send anything in to ghoulish@gmail.com or ghoulish on Instagram and Reddit. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
And spilling
the Ghoul Beans.